Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I had a question about disc stability and how wind affects it. Let's just imagine for a moment that I don't have the arm to get a freedom up to speed, which I totally do. And as a result, it still flies overstable for me, even though it was engineered to be more understable. If I step up to throw into a headwind and I throw that disc, will it still act like an overstable disc for me in that wind? Or due to the aerodynamics of the disc, will it still flip a good bit? Hope that makes sense. Keep it ridiculously real. And God bless.
I think Bobby's got the ridiculous part covered today.
Yeah, buddy.
My disc golf side J's.
My thadges.
Oh no.
Thadges.
Okay.
Thadges for the ages.
Yeah. Okay. So to answer your question, the disc acts more overstable as it's thrown more slowly, right? So a speed 14 disc, which is what the Freedom is, if thrown pretty slowly, is still going to act pretty stable, overstable because it's quite slow. Now, the way that it acts is all relative to your arm speed and how much you spin the disc, and then to the wind. So if it's normally pretty overstable and now you're throwing into a 10-mile-an-hour headwind, I think you would expect it to turn about as much as you would something else that flies the same for you at a slower speed, right? Unless your arm speed increases a ton, I don't think you're going to see, oh my goodness, now this is the most understable disc out there. Stability is really relative to the speed at which you're throwing the disc. I have Raiders in my bag that are pretty straight in no wind that would be classified as overstable, but thrown into a headwind, they're understable. Then I have others that are pretty overstable and no wind straight in a headwind. And so it's really just relative to your arm speed and the speed of the wind.
One of my favorite ways to test a headwind disc, if I have a driver that I'm like bagging as a headwind disc, but it might be new or I'm not like super confident in it, is I have someone who has a lot more arm speed than me throw it, because the discs fly relative to the wind, not relative to the ground. So if I throw it at 60 miles an hour and it does a thing, in a 10-mile-an-hour headwind, it's going to throw the same as someone who threw it 70 miles an hour in no wind.
Right. So just find someone who throws 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, usually I just ask Robert to throw it for me.
Yeah.
It works out pretty well.
That's not true. My arm's kind of slow, but it's
no, it's Kansas. I can just go throw it in a headwind.
Yeah,
it works.
No, we literally have those all the time. So.